Hi, I'm Zanny, and today we'll be taking a look at some of the best builds for your hunts in the Maelstrom. These are considered meta by the community, and feature some of the best combinations of cells and equipment currently available to you. Let's get to it. We'll start by taking a look at some of the best cell options you have at each cell category. For the Technique family of cells, your most efficient choices for general use are Evasive Fury, Wild Frenzy, and Predator. For builds that are focused on wounding, your best choices are Acidic and Savagery, both used together. In some situations, weighted strikes can be used with weapons such as the Chainblades and Repeaters, along with Overpower to exploit encounters with frequent interrupt windows. For dodge-intensive fights, use Evasive Fury over Wild Frenzy. If you're in a fight that does not require frequent dodging, or if you're operating with a low life build, use Wild Frenzy over Evasive Fury. Predator is good in every situation, so long as you can consistently avoid taking damage. For the Utility family of cells, your most efficient choices for general use are Etheric Attunement and Conduit. If you're playing in a group, the argument could be made to incorporate Medic, but you will lose damage in the form of Lantern Hold procs and Lantern Tap procs. Etheric Attunement is good in every situation and should be a staple in most builds. Conduit synergizes with Etheric Attunement very well, but requires too much investment to make worthwhile in current meta builds. For defense cells, your most efficient choices for general use are Sturdy and 9 Lives. Defense cells usually don't have a place in most meta builds, but if you have to slot one of the two cells mentioned prior, I would suggest Sturdy. The reasoning behind my choice is that, more often than not, you can guarantee an interrupt if you mistime one of your attacks, as the resolve will keep you from being knocked down while you're mid-swing. For the Power family of cells, you have a lot of flexibility in what might be the best for any given situation, but your most efficient choice for general use is Rage Hunter. If you're using a build that focuses on exploiting interrupts or staggers, your best choices are Knockout King and Overpower. If you're playing a build that operates under low-life conditions, your best choice is Rage. If you're fighting against a behemoth that spends most of its time Aether charged, use Aether Hunter over Rage Hunter. And lastly, for the Mobility family of cells, your most efficient choice for general use is Conditioning. If you're using Repeaters, the best choice for the slot is either Fleet-footed or Swift, depending on your preference and the nature of the fight. Fleet-footed is more user-friendly, while Swift requires a bit more mechanical interaction with sheathing and unsheathing. In their current states, many of the mobility cells do not have a place in the metagame as they are not as efficient as building purely for damage. Conditioning, however, is an exemption to this due to how potent the effect is. Even a +1 conditioning can have a dramatic effect on your gameplay experience. In most meta builds, the cells that you are likely to see incorporated are Rage Hunter, Evasive Fury, Predator, and Etheric Attunement, as they are the easiest to slot and have some of the strongest damage bonuses in the game. After having gone through some of the best cell choices for each of the cell families, let's have a look at some of the best builds for each of the 6 weapons that are currently available. Sword has the most diverse roster of endgame builds, which is fitting for the weapon's versatile nature. For general use, however, the build on screen is one of the best that is currently available. The Riftstalker weapons and their unique effects are incredibly powerful, and are only further complemented by a selection of good cell slots. Evasive Fury and Predator serve as one of the best damage packages available, and are incredibly easy to invest in through the use of Koshai and Embermane armor pieces. You'll notice this trend across the board in most meta builds. If you're fighting an Umbral Behemoth, you can substitute Riftstalker's weapon for the Rezakatana, which has the exact same cell slots alongside strong, unique effects. Axe builds often center around capitalizing on the immense damage bonus provided by Overpower, as each hit delivers an incredible payload of stagger damage and, by proxy, enables faster and more frequent staggers. The build on screen is currently one of the best available for Axe in most situations. If you're fighting Rezakiri, use this build instead, as Overpower currently does not provide any bonuses to your damage while Rezakiri is staggered. Chainblades require the most cell investment out of any other weapon due to their incredibly low base damage. The build presented on screen is best for general use, while the build beside it is used for encounters that have frequent interrupt windows, such as Bloodfire Embermane or Moonreaver Shrike. Hammer builds often follow the same build path as Axe, cashing in on its incredibly high stagger damage through the use of Overpower. Both builds are roughly the same, with very little deviation. Knockout King isn't a necessity for either the hammer or the axe, due to their already massive levels of stagger damage inflicted per hit. Pike, like the Chainblades, also has a few build options. With the more recent changes to its damage and the functionality of its right-click, you can either build around Overpower, or you can choose to go down the wounding path with Acidic and Savagery. Both are situational, as the wound build suffers when more players are added to the hunt, but performs well on fights such as Heroic Firebrand Cherog. On the other hand, the Overpower build is good all around for players who utilize the Warpike's strong right-click more. Take a look at the kind of fight you're getting into before you decide which build you'd like to use. And finally, we come down to the repeaters. The repeaters are interesting to build around in the sense that their modular design allows for them to accommodate for any particular fight at any time prior to the hunt. Here are two builds purposed for two different scenarios. If you encounter a fight that requires frequent dodging, use the Duelist Prism alongside the Ballistic Chamber for high burst damage. If you are fighting a slower behemoth, use Eclipse Prism alongside the Marksman Chamber for more consistent damage across the fight. Before I close, I just wanted to make something clear. I don't want to insinuate that these are the only builds that you can bring to the endgame. Ultimately, what you choose to play and how you choose to play it is going to be what drives you, and I respect that. It's the kind of freedom this game allows for all of us. If you can find use for some of the more niche choices in cells and make it work, then go for it. Creativity like that is something I want to see more of, especially when encounters in Dauntless become more mechanically diverse. For now, these builds serve as a great launching pad for those who are looking to maximize their damage efficiency, but they are certainly not the only way to prepare for behemoth fights in Dauntless. That'll wrap it up for this video. I felt obligated to make a video covering the metagame, as it's a topic that is often brought up on the Play Dauntless subreddit, as well as the community Discord. Hopefully, you found the information I presented here useful for your build endeavors. If you've got any other questions, feel free to leave a comment down below, and I'll try my best to give you a concrete and thorough answer. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a like and subscribe for more Dauntless-related content. It was good to see you all again, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.